There comes a time in every person's life when they must decide what kind of force they wish to be in this world. Strength alone is not enough. Knowledge alone is not enough. Compassion alone is not enough. Real impact, the kind that shapes lives, communities, and generations, comes when the mind and the heart rise together. When we allow our intelligence to be guided by humanity and our humanity to be strengthened by wisdom, we become unstoppable. The journey of life demands not only that we think clearly, but that we feel deeply, because the world is shaped most powerfully by those who know what is right and also care. Intelligence gives direction, and compassion gives purpose. Together, they form the foundation of meaningful action. When you rely only on intelligence, you may know how to reach a destination, but you might not understand why it matters or who it serves. When you rely only on compassion, your desire to help may be strong, but without clarity or strategy, your good intentions can scatter without creating real change. The harmony between the two is what turns effort into impact and turns vision into something that lives beyond your own life. Intelligence is the tool that sharpens your understanding of the world. It allows you to examine problems, recognize patterns, and find solutions that others may overlook. It focuses your energy and helps you make decisions that are logical and effective. But intelligence alone can become cold, detached, and focused only on efficiency or gain. A bright mind without a warm heart may achieve success, but it may not bring progress to anyone but itself. It may build towers, but forget the people living in their shadows. That is why compassion is essential. Compassion gives energy to intelligence. It infuses every decision with humanity and reminds you that your knowledge is meant to serve something greater than yourself. Compassion is the force that connects you to others. It reminds you that every number has a face and every decision influences a life. Compassion helps you understand the struggles, fears, and hopes of people around you. It motivates you to use your abilities not just to improve your own world, but to lift someone else's. But compassion alone, without direction, can lose its way. You may feel deeply for others, but without a plan or understanding, your actions may fall short of what is truly needed. A caring heart may want to rescue everyone, but a wise mind knows how to begin, which steps matter most, and how to create solutions that last. The real strength comes when your intelligence and compassion work together. Intelligence decides the course. Compassion determines the destination. Intelligence tells you how to build a bridge. Compassion tells you why the bridge must exist in the first place. When these forces unite, you do not simply act, you transform. Your work gains purpose. Your choices gain power. And your life begins to shape others in ways you may never fully see. Consider a simple example. Imagine a young teacher who enters a struggling classroom filled with students who have already decided that school has nothing to offer them. If she relies only on intelligence, she will create structured lessons, maintain discipline, and push her students toward good grades. She may succeed with a few, but many will remain silent and disengaged because they don't feel seen. If she relies only on compassion, she will listen to their stories, understand their challenges, and offer comfort, but without a strong plan, her care may not lead them to progress. Now imagine this teacher uniting both forces. She uses her knowledge to build lessons that connect to real life, lessons that challenge and empower. She uses her compassion to see each student as an individual with a story worth hearing. She guides them firmly but with warmth. She teaches them mathematics and language, but also teaches them resilience. Over time, her students begin to change. They do not only learn because the lesson is smart, they learn because the teacher cares. Her intelligence shapes their minds. Her compassion shapes their belief in themselves. That combination becomes the force that turns a forgotten classroom into a place where possibility begins again. When intelligence gives you the ability to move forward, and compassion gives you the reason to move at all, you become someone who not only achieves but uplifts. You make decisions that are both wise and kind, both effective and meaningful. In the union of a good head and a good heart, you discover not just success, but significance, and that is the kind of impact the world remembers. Decisions without empathy become dangerous because they strip away the very essence that makes our choices human. When you make decisions based only on logic, numbers, or outcomes, you risk overlooking the real people those decisions affect. A choice may look perfect on paper, perfectly efficient, perfectly structured. Yet in reality, it may cause harm, create division, or deepen suffering. Empathy is the force that softens the sharp edges of intelligence. It allows you to pause, to see beyond your own perspective, and to understand the emotional landscape of those your choices will touch. Without that understanding, even the most brilliant decision can become destructive, not because the intention is bad, but because the heart was never consulted. A decision made without empathy often comes from a place of distance. When you detach yourself from the emotions and experiences of others, you begin to treat people like variables rather than lives. You begin to look at problems only through the lens of efficiency, speed, or personal gain. The danger lies in the illusion that if something makes sense logically, it must be right. But human beings are not machines. Lives are influenced by feelings, fears, and needs. And when those elements are ignored, the consequences can be far more harmful than the problem you were trying to solve. Empathy prevents you from making choices that leave wounds hidden beneath the surface, wounds that can break trust, create resentment, or shut doors that once felt open. Empathy also helps you see potential ripple effects that logic alone often misses. You may decide to enforce a strict rule, end a relationship, cut a resource, or push someone into a direction they are not prepared for. Your reasoning might be strong, your explanation might be sound, yet without empathy, you may fail to understand how that decision will shape someone's confidence, stability, or hope. Empathy gives you the ability to pause and consider, how will this make them feel? What will this experience do to them? Is there a better way that still honors fairness and humanity? Without asking these questions, decisions become dangerously shallow, not because they lack intelligence, but because they lack soul. At the same time, empathy does not mean weakness. It does not mean avoiding difficult choices or letting emotions rule. Empathy means making decisions firmly but with understanding. It means recognizing that strength expressed without compassion becomes cruelty. and fairness expressed without emotion becomes coldness. When empathy guides your reasoning, it does not weaken your choices, it elevates them. It makes your decisions not only effective but also respected. People may not always agree with you, but they will trust you because they can feel that you did not ignore their humanity. Consider a simple example. Imagine a company manager facing a financial challenge. The numbers clearly show that cutting a team would save a significant amount of money. From a purely logical standpoint, the decision is obvious: remove the team and stabilize the budget. But before making this choice, the manager decides to understand the situation more deeply. He meets the team members, learns about their responsibilities, and listens to their concerns. He discovers that many support families. Some have been loyal for years, and others are working to climb out of hardship. Instead of cutting the entire team, he restructures roles, offers retraining, and finds a way to reduce costs gradually without destroying livelihoods. The company still survives, but so do the families who depend on it. That outcome was not only efficient, it was compassionate. Intelligence helped him understand the problem. Empathy helped him honor the people affected by it. When decisions lose empathy, they lose humanity. And when they lose humanity, they risk creating more harm than good. But when empathy stands beside intelligence, decisions become bridges rather than barriers. They uplift rather than crush. They guide rather than wound. Empathy transforms choices into acts of integrity, turning ordinary decisions into paths that heal, build, and inspire. A good heart is a powerful force. It compels you to care, to help, to lift others, and to bring light where there is darkness. But when a good heart is not supported by a good head, by clarity, strategy, and wisdom, it can easily become lost. Compassion without direction is like a river without banks, full of energy yet unable to flow in a meaningful way. You may want to do good, you may feel the suffering of others deeply, but without understanding how to act effectively, your efforts can scatter, drain you, or even create unintended harm. Good intentions are beautiful, but good intentions alone are not enough to create lasting change. A heart full of kindness can make you generous, but generosity without thought can make you vulnerable to being misled or overwhelmed. You might try to help everyone at once, stretching yourself so thin that you end up helping no one, well, not even yourself. You might offer support in ways that feel right emotionally, but fail to address the root of the problem. A good heart tries to put out fires. A good head studies why the fires start and how to prevent them. When the head and heart are divided, the heart carries all the burden, and the mind provides no map to navigate challenges. A thoughtful mind is what gives structure to compassion. It helps you ask the right questions. Is this the most effective way to help? Is this sustainable? Will my actions create long-term strength or just temporary relief? A good head teaches you that saying yes to everything is not kindness, it is exhaustion. It shows you how to set boundaries, not to block love, but to protect it. When your compassion is guided by wisdom, you can give without burning out and care without losing yourself. You not only respond to pain, you learn how to prevent it. You not only reach out to others, you also lift yourself up so you can continue serving. When a good heart acts without guidance, it can also lead to disappointment. You may expect that your kindness will always be appreciated, but the world does not always respond in equal measure. Without wisdom, you might take every rejection personally, becoming discouraged or feeling used. A wise mind reminds you that compassion is not about being liked, it is about doing what is right, even when the response is uncertain. Wisdom protects the heart from breaking under the weight of its own generosity. A powerful example of this balance can be seen in a young volunteer at a community shelter. She arrives full of emotion and a sincere desire to help. She stays late, gives out food with a smile, and offers comfort to everyone she meets. But after a few weeks, she begins to feel overwhelmed. She tries to solve every person's problem, stays awake, worrying about their struggles, and exhausts herself emotionally. Her heart is pure, but she is drowning in the weight of her compassion. Seeing her struggle, an experienced volunteer takes her aside and says, "Your heart is in the right place, but you must use your mind to protect it. You are trying to save everyone in one day. That is not compassion, that is chaos. Learn to help in ways that are sustainable, not self-destructive." The young volunteer listens. She begins organizing her time, focusing on tasks where she is truly effective, and setting healthy boundaries. She learns to connect with people without absorbing all their pain. Over time, instead of burning out, she becomes one of the shelter's strongest and most reliable supporters. Her heart never stops caring, but now her head gives her compassion a clear, strong direction. This is the power of a good heart, guided by a good head. The heart gives the desire to help. The head gives the ability to help well. The heart provides the warmth. The head provides the structure. When the two work together, your kindness becomes sustainable, your efforts become impactful, and your life becomes a steady force for good, strong, wise, and unwavering. When the mind and heart finally learn to work as one, a person becomes steady in a way that life cannot easily shake. A disciplined mind keeps you focused, logical, and grounded, while a compassionate heart keeps you connected to your purpose, your values, and the people around you. Each one alone can function, but together they form a kind of inner strength that is rare and incredibly powerful. This unity makes you both resilient and wise, firm yet gentle, determined yet humane. It transforms you into someone who does not break under pressure, but instead grows stronger because of it. A strong mind without a compassionate heart can become rigid, overly analytical, or disconnected. It may push through obstacles with force, but it may also ignore the emotional cost both to you and to others. On the other hand, a compassionate heart without a strong mind can become too soft, too easily discouraged, or overwhelmed by emotion. It may feel deeply, but it may struggle to navigate difficult situations with clarity. True strength is found not in choosing one over the other, but in allowing them to support each other. The mind holds the structure. The heart fills it with meaning. When your mind and heart work together, you gain a kind of moral courage that guides you even in uncertainty. The mind helps you evaluate situations, consider consequences, and choose the right path, while the heart gives you the bravery to walk that path even when it is difficult. This combination creates a person who does not simply react to life but responds with intention. You begin making decisions that honor both truth and compassion, You learn when to stand firm and when to adapt. You discover how to protect your energy without shutting people out, and how to care deeply without losing yourself. This unity also builds resilience. Life will always bring moments of hardship, loss, failure, betrayal, disappointment, but a balanced mind and heart face these moments with calm strength. The mind reminds you that struggle is temporary and that solutions exist, while the heart gives you the courage to endure pain without becoming bitter. You do not fall apart easily, nor do you pretend to be unaffected. Instead, you process your emotions with clarity and rise again with purpose. This is the kind of strength that inspires others, not because it is loud or forceful, but because it is steady, compassionate, and deeply rooted. Another powerful aspect of this unity is integrity. When your thoughts and feelings align, you act in accordance with your values, not out of fear or convenience. You become consistent. People know what you stand for. They trust you because your decisions are not only intelligent but also humane. You speak truth without cruelty, and you show kindness without weakness. This balance earns respect that cannot be demanded. It is earned through the way you live and the way you treat others. A simple example can illustrate this beautifully. Imagine a young athlete training for a major competition. He has a sharp mind that analyzes every technique, studies every movement, and constantly improves his strategy. But he also has a compassionate heart that keeps him humble, keeps him connected to his team, and reminds him why he began this journey in the first place. During training, he injures himself and feels like giving up. His mind tells him to be logical, rest, heal, and return stronger. But his heart aches with disappointment and frustration. For a moment, he feels torn. Then something shifts his mind, and heart begin to work together. His mind provides a recovery plan, while his heart gives him the emotional courage to stay patient and hopeful. He supports his teammates from the sidelines, encourages younger athletes, and uses his time to grow mentally stronger. When he eventually returns to the field, he is not only physically recovered, he is mentally steadier and emotionally wiser. His unity of mind and heart becomes the strength that carries him forward, far beyond the competition. This is the kind of unshakable power that emerges when the mind guides with clarity and the heart fuels with purpose. It is a strength that does not break because it is built from both wisdom and compassion, both logic and love. When these forces work together within you, there is no challenge too heavy, no road too long, and no dream out of reach. The world changes when we think better and love more, because progress is never built from one force alone. Logic without compassion becomes cold, and compassion without wisdom becomes fragile. But when the mind becomes sharper and the heart becomes softer at the same time, humanity moves forward. Every breakthrough, every movement toward justice, and every victory over hardship begins with someone who chose to think with clarity and act with love. When people raise the quality of their thoughts, when they question old patterns, challenge harmful beliefs, and imagine better possibilities, they create new pathways. And when they combine those ideas with genuine care for others, their actions take on a power that reaches far beyond themselves. Thinking better is not about being more intelligent than others. It is about being more conscious, more aware, more open to learning and unlearning. Loving more is not about sentimentality. It is about expanding your capacity to understand, forgive, uplift, and include. When we think better, we stop allowing fear, prejudice, anger, or ego to dictate our actions. We begin to make choices with intention instead of impulse. Clear thinking helps us separate truth from illusion, possibility from limitation, and fairness from selfishness. It helps us design solutions rather than wallowing in problems. But if clear thinking is not paired with love, those solutions can become mechanical or even harmful. Good ideas without humanity can build systems that ignore the people they are meant to serve. That is why loving more is essential. Love reminds us that behind every issue lies a real person with hopes, dreams, and struggles. Love keeps us grounded in humility, reminding us that no matter how much we know, we must never lose our connection to others. A loving heart encourages patience, forgiveness, and compassion, qualities that allow ideas to become instruments of healing rather than tools of division. Loving more does not mean avoiding conflict or pretending everything is fine. It means facing challenges with empathy, responding to hurt with dignity, and standing up against injustice without becoming the very thing we fight. Love strengthens the courage that clear thinking awakens. It gives us the fire to act, even when doing what is right is difficult, unpopular, or uncomfortable. When people combine thoughtful minds with compassionate hearts, they build communities where fairness becomes natural, where kindness is not seen as weakness, and where humanity is valued over pride. Thinking better and loving more also change the world on a personal level. They transform relationships, strengthen families, and heal emotional wounds. When you approach disagreements with clarity rather than stubbornness, and with love rather than defensiveness, conflicts become opportunities for understanding. When you think more carefully before speaking and love more deeply before judging, you change not only your own life, but the lives of everyone who crosses your path. People feel safer around you, more inspired around you, and more hopeful because of you. You become a source of light in places where people have forgotten what hope feels like. A simple but powerful example can bring this idea to life. Imagine a neighborhood suffering from division and distrust. One young woman decides that instead of complaining about the negativity, she will do something. She thinks carefully about what might bring people together, what would help them reconnect. Instead of jumping into action blindly, she observes, asks questions, and listens. She realizes that many residents feel unheard and isolated. Using this understanding, she organizes small community gatherings where people can share stories, express concerns, and reconnect. But she approaches this effort with more than strategy. She brings genuine warmth and compassion. She greets everyone with respect, listens without judgment, and makes each person feel valued. Over time, the gatherings grow, tension fades, and the neighborhood slowly transforms. People begin to help one another again. Strangers become friends. Fear gives way to understanding. This transformation did not come only from her ideas or only from her kindness. It came from the combination of both. She thought better, so her actions were effective. She loved more, so her actions were meaningful. Together, they created real change. This is the formula for progress: clear minds, guided by open hearts. When we elevate the quality of our thoughts and expand the depth of our compassion, we do more than change our circumstances. We help shape a world where humanity thrives. As you walk your journey, remember this: the world may admire your intelligence, but it will follow your heart. And when the two move in harmony, when your mind sharpens your vision and your heart fuels your purpose, you become a light that no darkness can extinguish. Carry your wisdom with humility and your compassion with strength. Let your head guide your steps, and let your heart guide your soul. When they walk together, there is no limit to what you can become and no boundary to what you can change.